Ancient Hebrew had been fascinating poets, scholars, dreamers, translators all over the years. 10, 15 years ago, it was a very difficult language to actually put your hands on or get resources for. But these days, everything is available. I think a lot of people in the times that we live in are fascinated with ancient Hebrew and are fascinated with what the Bible is actually teaching us. But it is so difficult to find that one course for dummies that can help you study and get to the bottom of ancient or biblical Hebrew. This is what this course is designed for. My name is Helmut Meijer. I'm a music composer and I'm a student or a scholar of ancient Hebrew. My journey started in 2008 in London. I never went looking for ancient Hebrew. It was never my intention to start studying it. Although I was fascinated with the Bible, this was never my intention. I visited a Shabbat in London with friends and first resisted all of this newness, and as time went by, something in me started becoming curious and more fascinated, until one night, also on a Shabbat, when my friend poured over the wine, something in my mind shifted. And that was the point of no return, and it was the point where I very often say my slippery slope started. Now, ancient Hebrew dates back to about the 10th century BC, incidentally the time during which King David reigned. In contrast with that of our own, Hebrew is a root-based language that focuses on function and action, whereas our Greco-Roman or our Latin-based languages focuses on form and appearance. Now, what do we mean by root-based? You see, where our own languages are very often built around the philosophy of concepts and the philosophy of words. For example, we use words like truth, spirit, righteousness, if I may use a couple of religious terms, and we rarely ever stop to figure out, do we mean the same thing? In Hebrew, in contrast, the little letters, the alphabet, very different alphabet, we'll get to that, but the little letters made up either of pictures or of the modern script, they actually tell you something about a very root-based idea for a nomadic people. Now you see, the problem is you and I are not nomads. We build houses, we accumulate wealth, we value our possessions and the success of our lives and our career choices, etc., etc. The way we do everything is a Western mindset, and I want to use the word a Western capitalist mindset very often. Whereas in ancient Hebrew, your life was about being connected to the earth. It was about water, it was about shelter, it was about finding food, it was about pasture land, it was about your animals, your livestock, which was your possessions, your prized possessions. And in our world, it's very, very different. Now you see, in a root-based language, your concepts, the way you understood everyday things, are connected to root words or root concepts. Now we will look at all of these things. In this course, we will start by studying and comparing the two main Hebrew scripts. There was a pictographic script up to a point, and you will remember from the history, around 586 BC, the majority of the nation of Israel were exiled to Babylon, and during that 70-year period of exile in Babylon, the pictographic script was transformed into what we call the Babylonian flame script or the Assyrian script, and that, curiously, is still in use today. Modern Hebrew still uses the Babylonian flame script for all aspects of their language. In this course, we will start by studying the two alphabets and then slowly, bit by bit, start constructing words, because you need a vocabulary before you can start looking at a language. And once we've got words and once we've armed ourselves with some building blocks, we can start putting these things together, start building sentences. My heart for this course is that at the end of the series, you would be able to read a passage in the Bible and hear for yourself what it is saying. The dilemma that we have is that translators very often get to a point, call it a crossroad, where they need to decide what they're going to tell you the Hebrew is saying, because there simply does not exist a single word or even a paragraph to explain what the Hebrew is actually trying to say to us. Some words in Hebrew actually require us to write a whole sentence before it makes sense. So With bias interjected, the translators very often have to decide for you and I what is the meaning of the text. And what happens over time is we're faced more with dogma and we're faced more with theological ideas than we are faced with the truth of the language. And this is why we are here. I want to help you come to terms with this very different, this very strange language called Ancient Hebrew. My name is Helmut Meijer. Thank you for joining us, and we'll dig straight into the context of Ancient Hebrew.